What is going on, everyone? We are back today with a video that has been requested. So this video is basically how to grade with PSA or Beckett, and I'll add CGC in there as well. Obviously, for people based in the UK, it is, I wouldn't say it's a little bit tricky, but obviously you can go direct, which I personally don't choose to do. I think that was probably lack of experience in doing it. So what I use is what's called a middleman service. Just before I start this video, this is not any way affiliated with the middleman I use. Obviously, this is just my personal experience. I use DANS Pokestop, if anyone has heard of him. He has a Facebook group now, he has a website, which we'll go into. But there is multiple middleman services over kind of the space of, I mean, they're all on Facebook, and that's kind of how I found this one. Obviously, this is personal experience. I know there's multiple people use Dan, as you say, on his Facebook page, and the returns that always come by. I've only had one set of returns back so far, but I've got another 3 sets out there already. So like I say, I use this to send cards to PSA and Beckett. There is also other services, kind of game grade and CGC grading, but I choose to use Beckett or PSA, as seen by here. There is a card right here, Beckett. So yeah, I mean, PSA I tend to use if I'm going to sell the cards. Beckett, I'll hold the cards because I prefer them slabs over PSA. That's just personal preference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of show the website on the right hand side and go through it all. But what it is basically you essentially are sending your cards to Dan in his company, and then he will send them to PSA grade them, they send them back to Dan, and then Dan sends them back to us. That is essentially the short version of how it works. Obviously, for the website, there is all the grading services on there. You know, you can go for the cheaper options, which I tend to go for because time frame isn't really an issue for me. So if you pay more, you get it quicker. I tend to just pay for, I think it's PSA bulk, which is £18, I think, or £16. And then the Beckett is again £18, which is a 40 to 60 working days. I tend to just say it's probably going to be about 80 because obviously you've got the layover of getting it to there and getting it back and so on. So I think for me, that's kind of what I go for. I know some people pay the extra, and then you can pay for, you know, value plus, and then they're back in, you know, 10, 15, 20 days, which obviously if you're in a rush to get your cards back, you know, and you have the money, go for it. And on the back of this will be this part one of how I make profit in Pokemon, because obviously selling raw cards is fine, but grading cards is a risk, but the risk is sometimes good enough for the reward that can come with it, which I can explain in the next video, and then I'll explain when my next return comes back, because I will price all of them cards that come back. And so yeah, like I say, how I post literally all the cards are in sleeves, penny sleeves, clear penny sleeves, and then all cards that I send, or this is how they like them done, so in a sub-safe or a semi-rigid, not a top loader, because this, I don't know how it works there, but this makes it easier for them, I read. So penny sleeve, sub-safe, or any kind of semi-rigid, and then I literally, say if I have 5, put them together, bubble wrap, obviously I tape it, which everyone knows what tape looks like, I hope. Bubble wrap, tape, and then, you know, I might have some kind of packaging noodles that I'll put in a box, which I do have a box down here for the next sub. But again, like I say, I just make sure it's totally, you know, secure, safe. I'm pretty OCD about my packaging because I want to make sure the cards get there safely and get there in good condition. Obviously they should be, because you're in a sleeve, you're in a semi-rigid, you're bubble wrapped, and it's in a box. It hopefully should get there all okay. Obviously pre-sending them, you put your submission through on the website. I also do a submission sheet, which I believe is the old way, but I do both just to be sure. I'll probably be corrected in the comments that you don't have to do the sheet anymore, and you just do it on the website. But basically that just lets them know what cards are coming, and then when you send them, obviously I send everything special delivery, because that means you know it's going to get there, in my opinion, because it's special delivery pre 4 p.m. UK time, will be there before 1 p.m. the next day. And then also you'll have the signature, and there's normally a picture of the package in, you know, some form of area for them, because I'm sure they take on more than one package a day. And then it's kind of in that process. And now, like I say, with the new website, there is a tracker on there, which I find incredibly useful. Someone from a sales background and back in the sales industry, it is useful to know where your order is, and obviously people, you know, if you're just asking on a Facebook page, it's going to be hard to manage, especially with the influx of how much they take on probably. So the order tracker is great, which I'll show you my January sub on the order tracker on the side here. And again, it kind of lists it obviously all of my stuff's shipped to PSA and Beckett currently. And then hopefully, you know, in a month or two, then that'll change to, you know, on its way back to DANS Pokestop. And then when they get them back, obviously it'll take maybe, I don't know, a week or two. I haven't really thought about it. I don't really think too much on time frames. Once they're sent, I just forget and then think about the next sub. Because if I'm going to do this to profit and make money on the side to invest further into TCGs, that is the way I kind of work it. So the January sub, 95% of them cards will be sold regardless of the grade. Obviously I check the cards over pretty meticulously before I send anything out. There is some PSA cards which I know are going to be like PSA 7s and 8s, but I thought they were cool just to grade, and then, you know, even if they sell for £30, that's fine. But yeah, so once the cards return, you know, previously you'd get an email. I don't know if it's different now because obviously the website, so it might just be via the website, but I'm guessing you'll still get an email saying returns are back, please pay your postage. You pay your postage, you provide the delivery address, again, just to be sure it's perfect where you're going. And then literally within a day, you'll have the tracking details. Or, to be fair, the last sub that I had, I got the tracking details, and I think it was about 1 o'clock the day after, but the delivery had already been. So I'd already actually received the parcel with the graded cards in, pre-actually getting the tracking details. So they were like ahead of the curve, which I think, I mean, in my opinion, good service, good customer service. Like I say, there's multiple people on Facebook who do middleman services. You know, there is a lot on multiple different groups, you know, the Dragon Ball groups, the Pokemon groups, the Y Schwartz groups. There is loads of different ones all over the world. I chose Dan on the basis that it was recommended from a few people. If one person recommends it, yeah, that's great. If a lot of people recommend it, then I'm like, okay, I'm on board. And also I didn't really want to go direct because I was unsure on the way it worked. Is the premiums and stuff, what you got to pay, do you have to have an account and stuff like that. So all in all, I think this is kind of how I go about it, and I'll probably continue to go about this and do it through Dan, unless something like mental happens and I get a huge sub that's worth excessive amounts of money, and then obviously then I maybe just go direct. But I think generally it makes it easy. And for newcomers, which I would say I still am a newcomer in this scene, obviously I used to collect a long time ago, but stuff like Y Schwartz, which I'm new into, like the Marvel stuff, obviously that's new to me. And I trust in them to get the cards out there, get them back and get them to me without me panicking. So once the cards are there and signed for, I just totally forget, move on to the next sub, which I did. So February, I sent a sub away, so that'll be coming back obviously a bit later. And then March again, another 10 cards went away, again, they'll come back later. And all of these returns videos will be on here. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, if you need any more information about how to do grading, ask the questions in the comments. I'll try and answer them as best I can from the knowledge I have. And like I say, if you've enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment and subscribe for more.